Are you a business owner looking for real advice and input? You're in the right place. From concept to launch to growth, funding, and beyond. Welcome to Startup Hustle with your hosts. One once sold a business for $150 million. The other, the author of $1 Million Bedroom. Here are your hosts of Startup Hustle, Matt DeCourcy and Matt Watson.
And we're back. Another episode of Startup Hustle. Matt DeCourcy here with Matt Watson. Hi, Matt.
What's going on, man?
Just chilling out, getting ready to get all juiced. I'm juiced up for another episode of Startup Hustle. And, you know,
you look a little juiced up. What have you been doing?
I've just been drinking juice, dude. That's how you get juiced up, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
that means a few things, maybe.
We're going to talk all about getting juice. And before we get started, I do need to let everyone know that this episode of Startup Hustle is brought to you by Fullscale.io. That, last time I checked, that's a business that we own together, right?
That's
Matt?
right, yeah.
Help people build software teams quickly and affordably. If you want to check out this podcast and see how beautiful all of us are, especially today's guest, you can go to our YouTube channel where we will be on there as talking heads.
Speaking about Full Scale, you just got back from Cebu.
I did.
How's that going?
Man, I'm tired. But I'm juiced. I'm juiced.
You need some extra juice this morning.
Yeah, well, let me, you know what? It's amazing how these things kind of go together because we just happen to have Chris Goode, who's the founder and president of Ruby Jeans Juicery with us today. Chris, what's up?
Not too much, man. Thank you for having me. What's up, guys?
Are you juiced?
I'm juiced.
I'd like to think you are. You look like you're juiced. You look like this dude's
the natural way.
He's pretty yoked up, man. He's like ready to I don't know. I'm going to drink some of the juice that he's been drinking.
Do you even lift weights?
I don't.
It's
Damn.
the juice, dude.
I don't lift a lot.
I know.
A little bit here and there.
He looks like he'd beat the shit out of me. Yeah.
Well, that's because you're not. That's because you're not juiced.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Chris,
I'm going to drink more of whatever you're drinking. So
that's what I'm talking about. Well, is there any better way for us to start an episode and push the juice at Ruby Jeans? Because
no, I think that's
man,
pretty good way.
You know the thing, I drank some of it. I'm smarter. I'm taller. My hair grew back.
I'm calling bullshit.
Oh, well, you don't know. You don't know. So anyway,
I don't see any hair.
Chris, let's talk about juice, baby. So at Ruby Jeans, you got a story. So tell us about the juice, man.
Yeah. So Ruby Jean is my late grandmother. When I was 14 years old, freshman in high school, my grandmother Ruby Jean. So she played a really big role in my life. So she was this extra layer for my mother. Growing up for my family, that my mom's working 2 jobs, single mom, 4 kids, and my grandmother kind of chipped in quite a bit. She lived right down the street from us, so all of my memories from childhood, they kind of center around my grandmother. So when I was a freshman in high school, about 1999, so just 20 years ago, just passed, my grandmother fell ill really quickly with type 2 diabetes. And as a 14-year-old kid, you don't really have an understanding of what any of that means at the time. It's just like, grandma is sick. So it was really, really rapid. And when we knew that she wasn't going to make it, she ended up on life support at St. Luke's on the Plaza. And we sent for my great-grandmother, who was still living at the time, her mother. And so she came up, my great-grandmother came up from Muskogee, Oklahoma, to essentially say goodbye to my grandmother. We're going to take her off life support. And my great-grandmother got here. She had that final hour with my grandmother, with Ruby Jean, and my great-grandma came out into the waiting room with us, took this big, massive gasp for air, had a massive heart attack, and died. So my great-grandmother preceded my grandmother in death very unexpectedly. And then 2 days later, we took Ruby Jean off of life support. So it was like life just stopped.
Yeah, wow.
Wow, that's like, you can't make that up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as a 14-year-old kid, through that lens, it's really hard to process. So I use football as my getaway, my outlet, and everything in life kind of became like any accomplishment of any scale. It was like, okay, that's for grandma.
Where'd you go to school, by the way?
I went to high school at Ruskin High School.
Ruskin, all right. I went to Center for a while.
Oh, okay. So yeah. So not too far from you. So I graduated Ruskin, walked on to the football team at Missouri State in Springfield, and I kind of still carried that chip of like on my shoulder, wanting to, you know, tell people who my grandmother was. And it just never went away. Graduated college, never went away. Started in the corporate America, and it was kind of like, you know, slowly fading a little bit. Time is going by. But I found myself in Los Angeles visiting a couple of friends of mine, and I get to LA, and I'm just going to hang out with my buddies, and they're like, "Hey, Chris, FYI, we're not going to eat today." As soon as I get to LA, and I'm like, "Wait, what?"
Welcome to California.
Yeah, like what do you mean? Like you're not? I don't get it. So they tried to explain to me they were doing this 7-day juice cleanse. I'm like, God, you guys are changing. I don't know you anymore. So the next day they showed me the documentary Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, and it blew me away. It blew me away. I mean, I watched this guy change his life by drinking fresh fruit and vegetable juice for 60 days straight, and I watched that process, and I thought, like, man, like he was able to change his life in a matter of 2 months, and my grandmother never had that moment to where like, hey, I need to eat better, I need to, you know, work out, I need to do something different. She never had that moment, and so I decided to come home to Kansas City and did a 10-day. Oh, nice. Changes to orange.
Well, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt there. I changed the Startup Hustle sign because I was looking at your shirt and I was like, we got to make this match.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I love that.
Didn't mean to throw you off there.
No, you didn't at all.
Yeah.
That's cool. So I came home to Kansas City and I did a 10-day juice cleanse myself, and it sucked. If you've never done a juice cleanse, it was terrible. So
Didn't you do one of those once?
No.
Okay, so you guys will.
I'd try it.
Oh, we got a challenge coming, huh?
I mean, no, it's not really a challenge. I mean, I like juice.
Yeah. So I did that, and I'd never done it before, and I jumped in pretty, you know, like it's like jumping in the deep end when you can't swim.
Can we stop for a second? Because like, can we define what I think the juice cleanse?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is that? Like, I mean, do I just drink juice for a week or whatever? Like, that's it, just juice, or is there like, do you drink specific types? Like, I don't get it. I don't know anything about it.
So
I see a lot of people saying they want to do it.
Right.
Like,
so
what is it?
a juice cleanse it's just taking raw fruits and vegetables that have never been heated, never been seasoned, never anything, just washed, broken down, and turned into liquid. So you're drinking fresh juice. And for us, if you're going to do, let's say, a 3-day juice cleanse, it's really a 7-day process, because you don't want to go from, you know, eating all of the great Kansas City barbecue, you know, one day and then immediately start drinking only juice the next day. Your body will be like, why are you doing this to me? So you kind of wean off of your regular diet. Day 1, day 2, you're weaning off. Day 3, your cleanse will be picked up at Ruby Jean's, and it's 6 different bottles. So every 2 hours you have a bottle of juice to drink. And in the middle of that, so like you're drinking liquids all day long, because where people have a hiccup is, I'm drinking all this fresh juice and I feel hydrated, so I'm not going to drink water. Well, au contraire, the fresh juice is now your food and water is still your water. So you're drinking water in between every juice, and you do that we've had people do it for a month. The most of what we sell are 3-day cleanses, because I think it's because it sounds like, okay, I can not eat for 3 days and survive. But if people ask my recommendation, I never suggest less than 5 days, because that first, like I was telling you, when I did my first cleanse, it sucked until I got to day 4, day 5, because my body adapted to the process.
What sucks about it? Because like, I think I could make it through, but maybe I need to try it. Like,
you do need to try. I think everybody needs to try it. It's like an oil change for your body. I mean, That's the best way I can describe it. Like, you change the oil on your car every 3,500 miles, but on your body, you drink and eat and do all this stuff to our bodies, lack of rest, and we never give it that tune-up.
So when people say it sucks or it makes it hard, is it just because you want to eat something solid on the 3rd day?
You want to eat something
I just
solid.
want like something that crunches, or
you find out how addicted to food you are in that moment when you don't have it. And like, for instance, Matt is sipping his coffee right now. I assume you drink a lot of coffee.
Oh yeah.
All right. So there's no coffee.
I'm actually juiced on coffee right now. I'm not juiced.
Right.
Yeah.
So imagine I drink a lot of coffee too. So when I go through a cleanse, that first 2 days, I have headaches.
Oh, you
because-
mean there's no coffee on
I
this
can't
either?
drink coffee?
No.
Oh shit!
It's just
Now
wa-
I'm
You
out.
can't put espresso in your juice?
No,
Oh,
it's just water and just
no.
because that's
And
the
wait,
whole point.
can
So
you-
Wait.
and you don't make barbecue juice?
Nope.
No,
we don't.
come
No,
on.
No.
Dude, this
So
sucks.
that's- Oh.
I haven't even started this juice cleanse, and I already think it
But that's
sucks.
the
Oh.
point. In all seriousness, that's the point. You know, our bodies like we're addicted to caffeine. You know what I mean?
I have to be honest. I feel better when I don't drink coffee. Like if I don't drink coffee for like a week,
Yeah,
I actually feel better.
yeah. You actually get more energy.
Yeah, I do.
Because your body grows this addiction to caffeine. It
Yeah.
grows an addiction to salt, an addiction to sugar. So you're breaking all of these addictions in a very fast-paced time period. So that's why it sucks, because it's just difficult. You're so used to eating it. If you've never cleansed before, it sucks even more. But
so
the
if we
benefits
do
are
this,
crazy.
he's gonna be tired and hangry for a week, and I gotta deal with this shit.
Not for a
no.
week.
I'll get a. No, you'd be shocked because, like I'm telling you, I think I could get through this. Now, would you, if we kept our listeners up to speed on this, would you be willing to provide the juice for us, and we'll make sure to point that out. Now,
Let's talk about it.
Now, here's the
Let's
thing,
talk
Chris.
about
I can't promise you it's going to go one way or the other in a marketing perspective. Like, it's either going to be like day 3, and I'm going to be like, "Damn you, good, Chris! Why did you do this to me?" And I'm going to be like, "Yeah,
No, let's
like,
talk about it. We can
flip
set
the table
set
up.
something up.
Like, I think it'd be good, but maybe
The
at the
startup
same
hustle
time,
juice challenge.
you would
maybe.
be surprised though
I think I
how
could
you
get it
feel
done.
at the end of a
It's
juice
5
cleanse.
days or 7. How long is it again?
So I would recommend no less than 5, because people get past. So we sell 3 days, and you get through day 3, and then that's the hardest part, and then you stop, and all of the benefits are still to come. Day 3, day 4, day 5, and so on.
So I feel like Voltron about day 5.
the defender of the
amazing.
universe.
Yeah,
I
sword
can't-
and all.
literally.
Voltron, what do you have to say about that? Dude's quiet, man. I know. We brought in another co-host, and he doesn't even say anything. Where would he even drink juice? If you guys want to see a
Probably has a
picture of
tank.
Lego Voltron, go to @Startup Hustle Podcast on Instagram. Yeah, you got to start pulling your weight, Voltron. He's taking up a mic. I'm looking over at the soundboard. We don't even have his mic on. Is that the problem?
Maybe.
Okay. So all right. So I get it on the juice cleanse. Thank you for clarifying that. I think I could get through 5 days because I've done. I think with any diet, it's about what you can tolerate. Like we both did keto.
Mhm.
I can deal with keto because like I get to eat the things that I'm cool with.
Uh-huh.
Like, I mean, if I can eat steak and bacon and somehow that is okay. I mean, I can get through that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I can only do it for a given period of time before it. You talk about that, like that little voice. It's like, I want some bread.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
want some bread. And you know the feeling too,
Oh,
Matt.
yeah,
Like it's
yeah.
like you get through it for a while, but one of the things you pointed out that I noticed with keto is that like so eventually you start eating way less. Were you like that, Matt?
Yeah,
Like I
yeah,
barely ate anything. Like,
Yeah.
and I started, and I'm like, well, no wonder I'm losing weight. Like some of it is probably just me not carrying around a bunch of literally shit. I mean, for real though,
Yeah,
like
your
you fill
digestive tract.
up your
Yeah.
whole system with some of that stuff. And
Yeah.
you get it, you get it out, and you get used to it. But much like any lifestyle choice, once you get through a certain period of time, it was like quitting smoking or drinking or any of
Right.
that. It just becomes your new norm.
It's a rhythm.
All right, so let's go back to your story. We got all sidetracked. So
Yeah.
you went to California. You figured out nobody there eats real food. They eat all this weird stuff. But part of that is they like juice. You did the juice.
Well,
you
they,
did
they
the
eat
juice
sushi there.
cleanse.
There's more sushi
more
restaurants.
avocado and all.
There's more
yeah, all sorts of
sushi
weird
restaurants in
stuff.
LA than McDonald's.
Really?
Probably. Yeah. When I was,
Like,
Okay.
I look like, is that a
So
fact?
then
you know what? It
you
wouldn't.
came,
It wouldn't surprise
It
me
wouldn't
if
surprise
that was true.
you
'Cause,
came
like,
back to
yeah.
Kansas City, and then you did your own juice cleanse.
So I did my own juice cleanse, and it was terrible, and then it was amazing. So by day 10, day 11, I felt like I could play football again. I was like, wow, this is different. And I was in decent shape just from muscle memory, and I worked out, but I ate whatever I wanted. So going through a juice cleanse and really getting down to a very foundational existence of my whole body, my everything was just very basic. And so I started eating very healthy after that. And I fell in love with the culture. And
But Chris, at this point, Ruby Jeans wasn't.
No.
The business hadn't started.
No,
so were
no.
you making your own juice for yourself at this point, or were you just like going and were you doing someone else's program?
I made my own juice for my juice cleanse, and then after that, I was a traveling catastrophe adjuster for work. and so I was traveling.
I've never heard that as a real thing.
Yeah. So an adjuster, I mean, claims adjuster,
sure.
but
you literally traveled from catastrophe to catastrophe?
Yeah. Yep, around the country. So I worked Hurricane Sandy, Irene. We drove up the coast behind Sandy from the Carolinas and followed it into Jersey. And
you must be a patient, empathetic man, because you would have to be to do that.
Very. I mean, I got to meet people at their lowest points where they're losing everything, or sometimes it wasn't covered. So yeah. But I was doing that for work, and so I fell in love with the juicing culture. So I started going to juice bars in every city I would travel to, just naturally as a consumer.
I've been to a couple of juice bars, but I don't think they're the same kind that you're talking about.
I've gotten that question a few times, like, what do you mean juice bar?
Hey, Chris, if you're going to put up near the rim, I mean, sorry. I can't.
Go ahead, slam it. It's all good. So I started going to juice bars around the country, and just fell in love with the culture, and I got tired of traveling. I got extremely tired of traveling. I did it for 5 years. I was in a different city for 3 weeks of every month. And I found myself in Chicago in the middle of the night, restless, and I could not remember where I was at. It was like...
Been there, man. It's rough. It's rough, yeah.
And I was like...
You just feel transient.
Yeah.
I think you did that in the Hong Kong airport a couple days ago.
No, I had a travel job. That was the last real job I had. I traveled 180 days in a year. And like, he's not kidding. Sometimes you wake up and like so I'd always stay in the Hampton Inn because it's actually consistent. But I would sometimes wake up and for like 10 seconds, I'd be like, okay, where am I?
Yeah. And
that's a weird feeling.
And that happened to me.
It's hard to feel centered.
Very hard. And it was a breaking point for me. I was like, God, I'm making good money, but this isn't it. So I started to ask myself, well, what are you passionate about? Chiefs didn't work out, like what do you want to do? And I had fallen in love with that culture, and my grandmother she's always been there. Like I always knew, like, man, I got to show people how amazing my grandmother was. So I'm sitting in this room in Chicago. Residence Inn was my pick. But I'm looking around the room. Okay, I got a traveling juicer. I juice all the time, go to juice bars. All my tattoos were about my grandmother. I'm like, okay, grandma, juice. And it just like hit me like a ton of bricks. And I set up, and it was like, okay, I'm going to create a juice bar and honor my grandmother. The name didn't hit me right away. I went through a couple of terrible names.
Blame on us. We like to talk about where we failed. Come on.
I feel like this is the wrong place to even put that out there. Because you guys have too good of a sense of humor.
Oh.
All right.
That might be, but part of, but hey, man, the part of what the Startup Hustle is about is, we like to be open. Like we talk about, man, I've talked about on a couple hundred episodes in at this point, like so many things that we have done poorly.
We're all embarrassed for you. It's okay.
I mean, I get it. I would be too. You don't have to share if you don't want to, but so you talk about making a difference with juice. So we want to try to help people avoid the mistakes.
Yeah. The first name I came up with, and I thought it was brilliant. I told my friend, and she immediately laughed, was Smooth and Juicy.
Oh, the Smooth and Juicy Juice Bar.
And I thought it was catchy. That was the first one that hit my head. And I was like, okay, she laughed at me. And then I went back to the drawing board, and I kind of sat with myself a little bit.
It's not the worst name. It just might not fully explain what you do there.
And why I do it, yeah. So I went back to the drawing board, and I kind of thought like, well, why do you, what is it about this thing? Why do you really want to do this? And my grandmother came back, and it hit me again, like, name it after your grandmother. And I did it. And went forth and started looking for a location. Quit that job way too soon. Came back to Kansas City with very little money saved. Started looking for locations in or around Westport, Midtown area specifically, and then stumbled across this situation at 40th and Broadway, and we opened our first location. I'm skipping a lot, but we opened our first location July 25th of 2015 in a little 700 square foot space in Westport.
So is it pretty affordable type of business to start up?
Yeah, I mean the barriers
doesn't require a whole lot of capital.
I mean, for me, that's that's a very relative question. For me, it
but some of
everything.
It too is like there's some R&D. You can't just be like, hey, I'm going to open a juice place.
Got to have some recipes.
Well, right, you got to figure that out, right?
I think people think that, It has this very.
Or do you just put a
very
bunch of
simplistic-
tomatoes in a juicer and squeeze it down? You're like, tomato juice, people.
I mean, people think that starting a juice bar is super, super easy, and there are very many lessons that I've learned that are contrary to that thought. But I think you got to go for it and learn it on the fly.
Well, that's what we want to hear. We want to hear these lessons.
Hear the lessons. They're numerous.
I mean, are these just general food service business lessons? Or
No,
just
I mean, like for instance, my first location, I went in gung ho and I spent every single dollar I had, and have never done a commercial real estate deal. And typically, when you go into a commercial lease, there's like this common ground where the landowner will meet you at. Okay, so we're gonna do tenant improvement to this extent, and you're gonna meet us here. I had no clue about that.
Yeah.
Literally had never heard tenant improvement ever.
I think that's common for a lot of people because commercial leases and home leases are so different.
Yeah.
And they're so variable.
Yeah.
Like that's one of the things in the Philippines we get frustrated with, because we have 170 employees in Cebu City, Philippines, and the real estate's so different. Like, honestly, I wish it wasn't, because here you can negotiate those tenant improvement, those leasehold improvements and amortize them. There we got to pay for everything up front. It's a huge burden.
And I mean, if you can imagine, like,
so did you not negotiate those things in, and then
not at all. I mean, everything was my expense.
So
and so that I was just blind to that.
So just put too much capital up front when you could have
everything
let them finance that back to you.
For sure.
And for those of you that are listening, if you're thinking about negotiating a commercial lease, keep in mind it is really exactly that, negotiable. You are buying someone else's building for them.
Yeah.
So because when many commercial spaces don't know what kind of tenant they're going to get, you probably had like a blank shell or like a warm shell maybe or something, and like.
So the deal I did was very unique, and I feel like I wouldn't take any of it back, now in hindsight, just because I needed to learn those lessons, and I really didn't have anything that was proven. I had something that was literally from my mind. I had nothing to show that I could make $10 from this, and so I went in and I did a deal with. There was a gym downstairs in this building, so I was a sublet of that gym.
Okay.
So I did a kind of a handshake, napkin, terrible 1-year lease deal with another small business owner.
Okay.
So yeah.
So all right, so and I'm not being an apologist for the landlord here, but also for landlords, it's kind of tough if you're a new business, and you mentioned the unproven.
Yeah.
That's tough for them too, because like if they're going to sink a bunch of money into what you're doing, especially if you have a one-off use like a juice restaurant. If it's a little different, if it's like an office space, because that is pretty applicable to a lot of different people. So
it's not a niche.
So one of the things with food service or like perishable products is exactly that. Like you have a shelf life.
Yeah.
On a lot of the stuff. Have you had to learn a lot about that?
I have.
And sourcing materials?
I have. It's something that we navigate consistently. Like always, how do we get our cost of goods down? What suppliers do we need to go through? Our juice is fresh, so we small batch it. We make it ourselves, and we sell it directly to our customers. And we haven't really gotten into a situation of having to have such a long shelf life, but for our next phase of the business, that will be very, very important.
I guess it only matters if you're like bottling it, right?
Well, we are. So we have if you were to do a juice cleanse, you would get bottled cold pressed juice. But it matters when you go through a third party and you go to actually wholesale it. Okay. So if I sell it to you and then you sell it to Matt, then the FDA is all over it. It's a whole different process.
But you don't have to do that
because we're going direct to our consumer. So we fall under the health department's guidelines.
I didn't realize that. Did you?
I have a question for you.
Shoot.
Hello.
We should let people take calls during the show when that happens, just to see what they want, and then when they answer, put them on speaker. Be like, hey.
What is the difference between a smoothie and juice? And do you sell both?
So difference between smoothie and juice. So a smoothie is going to have all the fiber, everything blended into it.
Okay.
So smoothie, we're blending everything up together. It has ice. It might have almond milk.
It's got the
fruit.
pulp.
It's got the pulp. Okay. Everything it stays intact. With juice, we take our big batch recipes and we put it through this huge grinder, and then it breaks it down into a pulp, and then we have a press machine that presses,
Just get the juice out of it.
extracts the water.
So do
from
you
it.
sell smoothies or only juice?
We do. So we sell centrifugal juice. So that's juice that just like you would make at home. So it's a fancy word for saying that there's a spinning blade and it goes down a chute and it spits out juice.
Okay.
And then we sell smoothies. We sell performance shakes. At our Truce location, we have a full sit down, fast casual, healthy food menu.
Okay.
In our other locations, we have like grab and go food or healthy snacks.
So you do actually serve solid food at these places too?
We do.
Right. No, I mean, well, it's a juice bar. I didn't know.
Yeah, we do. So on
Now,
Truce,
but one of your
Ruby Jean's kitchen and juicery.
and one of your locations is inside Whole Foods.
Yeah, that's our
Now,
newest
is that
location.
a partnership with Whole Foods, or are you just like leasing?
So it's I guess you can look at it two ways. I mean, we're a part of what's called a Friends program with Whole Foods, which is like this very selective program they have across the country where they go out and they find who they feel are the best local purveyors of whatever they're, in this city, it might be sushi, it might be coffee in another city. So they approached us wanting us to come in and take over their juice bar program. So
That's got to make you feel really good.
We don't pay a lease. It's it's a deal.
Yeah, that's a
that we put
validator
together.
right there. That's probably
pretty big deal.
Was that the most recent? That's what I saw an article.
Yeah.
That's, by the way, you should thank maybe Startland News because that's what brought me to you.
Oh, okay, cool.
I was like, hey, well, we're trying to find, with here on the show, we're always looking to find different types of entrepreneurs.
Sure.
We've had coffee folks. We had the Casey Soda Company in here. We had a soda taste test challenge.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were hoping for some juice today.
Do they still? I should have said something. I'm normally moving around.
We-
Just have juice on my person
We,
at all times.
yeah, well, we would have tried it, and we did almost like a to the death tournament,
did.
Almost like Highlander. There could be only one, and we tried them all, and they were interesting. Which one won? The butterscotch?
Yeah.
The not Harry Potter?
The not Harry Potter.
The not Harry Potter
soda.
brand? We were worried. we were
so let me
gonna
ask you
offend the
this:
trademark there.
you get this deal with Whole Foods. Does that feel like you just hit a giant grand slam at that point?
It feels like a blessing. For me, it doesn't feel like a grand slam. I think it's a major step in the right direction. It does validate us in what we do. But it, to be able to partner with somebody like Whole Foods, where you can't really say Whole Foods to anybody, even if they're not a healthy person, it speaks for itself. So it for us is we have to keep doing what we do well, connecting with people, being intentional about our messaging, leading with purpose, and then whatever the Whole Foods relationship turns into, but we just focus on
And
us.
how long have you been in Whole Foods now? It's like a month or something like that?
A month today.
So far has that so I've had experience before, like you do like a partnership like this and you think like, oh, we just hit like a grand slam.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get a month into it and you're like, no, this was a waste
Maybe
of
not.
time.
Yeah, maybe not.
So is this turned out to be a good thing so far? So far so good?
It has been a great thing. It's allowed us to be in front of a consumer that we haven't typically been in front of.
Yeah.
At 40th and Broadway and now our flagship at 30th and Truce, we have a very, very diverse audience.
And where's Whole Foods at?
It's at 51st Street. So it's in
You're coming south.
Brookside. Yeah.
You're
so
coming
it's,
south.
a different mix of a consumer, and it's cool because a lot of people have never heard of us.
Yeah.
So it's like we're starting over in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been a really, really, really good thing. We've been really well supported there in our first month. Our grand opening, I think we had north of 700 people. So it was.
And you have employees there? They're not Whole Foods employees?
There are teammates.
You're
correct.
That's cool. Very cool.
I'd like to play mixtape.
All right, let's do it.
Have you played mixtape before?
No.
Do you know how to sing?
You're about to. You don't need to sing. So mixtape
Or dance.
Mixtape the game. I pulled several cards. I was hoping for a juice related song. Didn't get one. I'm trying to keep it pure. So mixtapethegame.com. Check it out. Digital version coming soon. I did play the digital version. I just got back from the Philippines, by the way.
At our office at Full
Which,
Scale.
by the way, in the Philippines, like Matt and I both, like one of our favorite things there is mango juice or mango shakes, made like smoothies made with fresh mangoes. And I will tell you that until I first went to the Philippines, everything I thought that was true about fresh fruit was a lie.
Really?
Like, I mean, it's
It's
would
another
you agree?
level?
Well,
Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
like tropical fruits like mango,
Yeah.
pineapple, stuff
So
like that.
what-
They're
what-
way better there.
So what makes it so special?
It's just like fresh off the tree.
Wait,
just
yeah,
ridiculous.
It's like,
huh?
I mean, it's like there. Like, I mean, there's no, like, I mean, it is
There's
like,
no truck in between.
yeah. I mean,
it's like trying to eat crab here versus going to the Northeast
Yeah.
and eating crab right out of the ocean, right?
well, when I
It's the
lived
same
in,
sort of thing.
when I lived in North Carolina, you could go down to the dock and buy oysters and like do an oyster roast, you know,
Yeah.
and like that was, I wouldn't do that here. I'd be
Yeah.
like, man, how old are these? You
You
know,
know, where
like,
did this come
same
from?
sort of thing.
yeah. So, but there's just the mango, and we didn't even realize this. So you get a green mango or orange mango. The green ones are sour; they're not ripe yet.
Right.
So, and that's my favorite. I like those.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like,
Do you have mango juice?
We have mango in our smoothies.
Man, if
But
you don't
it's
have mango
orange.
juice, I don't know if we can be friends.
But it's
Mango
or-
juice. There's
Yeah.
not really much water yield in a mango.
you might be
they
right
make
about that.
juice out of it somehow because it's there too. Like I have it at the.
Or it's like mango
they
Kool-Aid.
have like a mega bin of it.
I mean, you can blend it down so
Yeah.
much to where anything.
I don't
will
know how
liquefy.
they get it into juice, but it's good
Yeah.
either way.
All right,
But
if you have
yeah.
mango shakes, I'm coming by.
All right.
Okay, so with mixtape, this is a game where I'm going to read a scenario, and we will all pick a song that we feel best fits this, and then we will vote. You cannot vote for yourself.
All right.
The best song to play while a herd of wild Mustangs are galloping across the plains. I'm going
The
with
Thunder Rolls.
you're going Garth
Garth
Brooks.
Brooks.
All right, I'm going with Easy Rider, even though that's supposed to be like a motorcycle song.
Can you repeat the?
Yes, I can repeat the
Blanking.
question, and it's okay. You can pick anything you want. We've also learned that "Fuck You" by CeeLo Green is a universally acceptable answer. So if you can't think of one, just go with that, and you'll be all right, and maybe win. The best song to play while a herd of wild Mustangs gallops across the plains. I think anything horse riding, like Easy Rider was like this.
Okay, so the little Nas and what's the country singer that just came out?
Old Town Road.
Oh, you're going with
Old
Old Town
Town
Road.
Road.
Okay. Wow, that's pretty hot right now. It's going to be kind of tough to beat that one.
I'm going to go with Old Town Road.
Thank
I'm going to go too. Congratulations,
Thank you.
Chris.
Thank you very much.
For whatever episode number this is, here you can hold the mixtape card, and we'll take your picture with it real quick so we can post that. Hang on 1 second here. Go ahead, hold that guy up.
Does he get the grand prize?
Yeah, now here's the real thing. Do you want to fire the money gun?
Of course.
Yeah. Hang on, I've got it. Give me just a second.
It's like,
let me get
of
ready
course.
for you. So, we got to make sure we capture this moment because this is your glory. All right, fire away, buddy. You can fire that out. Oh, there you
I
go.
was expecting I wanted it to shoot everywhere. Oh, there's real money in here.
Dude, yeah, that's definitely.
Oh, that's real money.
Yeah.
It's only singles, sorry.
Okay, congratulations.
And if you get a little glitter on you, sorry about that too.
Yeah, that's from the other juice bar. So a little follow-up, by the way. So I was recently at an event for the top 50 most VC-backed startups here in Kansas City, and I saw Kevin Lockett again.
Oh yeah.
And so when Kevin was here, do you know who Kevin Lockett is?
Mhm.
All right,
Chiefs
so
player.
he won, and he fired the money gun, and he got about a third of the way through it, and he goes, "Oh, they're only ones," and he just stopped. He didn't and I even shared this with Kevin. There's moments in your life where you realize you haven't made it yet, and that was one of mine. I was like, dude, I've got so much ground to cover to catch up with you, Kevin, and I shared that with him because he was sitting there at that event looking a little bored. I was
Hey, we
like,
had hundreds in the money gun
for a day.
For one day.
And then you took them and spent them somewhere.
I did.
Did you buy juice?
Nope.
Well, anyway.
Not our kind of juice.
Okay, so and I should have mentioned this earlier, but if you want to check out Chris's website, you can go to rubyjeansjuicery.com. You're on Facebook and the Gram under that same handle. Can you order your juice online? Is that real yet?
So you can order cleanses and then pick them up
Okay.
in store. But
So
we're
if
not
you're here in
we're not
Kansas
stores
City,
yet.
So if you're here in Kansas, so when we want to do our juice cleanse and our challenge, we can order that and then pick it up.
Do you need to order it online? Like they're not necessarily in stock? Like,
No, I mean we have cold pressed
Yeah,
juices
you
in
wanna-
stock,
you
but we
wanna
have a
make it for
specific
you, right?
set. We have
Yeah.
a specific set. We have a beginner's cleanse and an advanced cleanse. The difference being there's a lot more fresh fruit juice in the beginners. Advanced is pretty rough. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's more for people that have been juicing for years and eat a very clean diet and need that extra
So
boost.
so let me ask you this.
By
So
the way, I'd probably go advanced right away just because I like to challenge myself and then really regret it.
so somebody like you, do you have juice like every day for lunch instead of a meal, or like how do you do this like long term? What do people do?
So for me, it's, I mean, I'm an anomaly because I have a juice bar.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know? But people,
All the hippies in California, what do?
they typically will start their day with the juice. I mean, like,
Shaking
you
my
know,
head here, man.
people that drink juice, they typically start the day with the juice. I mean, it's just like a part of life, you know, and it's not really necessarily, you're not going to skip a meal. You might have a juice with your breakfast.
Okay.
Unless you're like really trying to go after a goal, you know, like if you're trying
So
to
people
cut
don't use
weight
it
or
as a meal
something.
replacement.
Not typically, not juice. Juice
Okay.
should accompany a well-balanced diet. It's not really in place of anything. It can be, but for me, I mean,
So
I
just for the
couldn't maintain
cleanse.
my size.
Just
that
for the
way.
cleanse.
Just for the cleanse.
All right.
So it replaces.
By the
all
way,
food.
you were joking about California. Last time I was out there, I went to go visit Joel Cummins, my book
Yeah.
co-author, and we were in Santa Monica or Santa Barbara somewhere. And the first place we went in, and it was like everything on the menu, like half the menu was like wheatgrass shots. And like,
Yeah.
and I was like, Joel, where'd you bring me? He's like, dude, it doesn't matter where I take
So
you.
welcome
Like,
to California.
Half the
Yeah.
menu's going to be like this.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I was like, are you serious? He's
Yeah.
like, yeah. Yeah, like, I mean, and it
You
was
can
all,
have egg whites or avocado or wheatgrass shots
Yeah.
or
So I lived
juice
in
or
Inglewood for 2 years, and then when I had that moment in Chicago, that's when I decided to move back to Kansas City. So I wanted to do it here, and you know, because juice bars are on every corner in LA.
I want barbecue juice. That's got to be a thing.
that's probably terrible. by
like
the
you
way.
just
That's-
squeeze all the juice out of some brisket and then drink it.
Oh man,
That sounds
and then,
gross.
and then you go directly to the hospital, like
Yeah.
immediately.
Well, maybe not. That's probably keto friendly.
It probably is.
That's your
keto
new, instead of
friendly.
wheatgrass shots, you need barbecue juice shots.
I think
Yeah,
it's so,
gristle juice.
I just
Ugh.
think it's so interesting the way the human body responds to different things. Because like you look at the keto diet or Atkins. I can't really say I was really on keto because like my wife was.
You're on
And she was
dirty
like,
keto,
well, she was like I was on Atkins, just like low carb, and
not
my,
high fat.
My body responds really well to that.
'Cause
like,
keto's
you
really high
mentioned
fat.
muscle memory and stuff like that. I can get myself back in shape pretty quick because
Uh-huh.
like before I was old and fat, I was actually in good shape, but it comes back
It
pretty
does.
quick. But my body responds well to keto, but I don't respond well to other diets. Now, when I was probably 15 years ago, I actually thought I was being really healthy and I was drinking a ton of juice and I actually kind of made myself fat.
Really?
Well, because if you think
What-
about like orange juice and all that, there's like just a lot of sugar in
Yeah,
it. So if you're
but that's
eating,
why I say it.
but
it's
if
a
you're
part of
eating
a
other
balance. Yeah.
things with it, then like I look back and I was like, well, I probably could have exercised a little bit,
Yeah,
but it's crazy the way that your body will react so differently to different things. Because my wife was concerned when I did keto. She was like, well, you're 44 years old. Don't like put yourself in the hospital. I went and talked to my doctor about it, and he explained the physiological reasons why it's not bad.
Well, I mean,
You
like
know,
I was
like,
talking to
it
my
just-
mom this morning about it, and she was, she's like, well, she's about to be 60 in December, so we're talking about her goals for the next. We got like 100 days left in the year, and so we're just goal setting with each other. And she's like, well, I was thinking about. Did you hear about this diet? I'm thinking about starting off on keto. I'm like, Mom, check it out. It doesn't matter what you do. As long as you do whatever it is in moderation with some
Yeah.
kind of balance,
I think
and
it's
you
great advice,
exercise
yeah.
along with it,
Yeah,
and put an emphasis on vegetables. That's it.
yeah.
Every diet's a low carb diet, a low sugar diet. Most of them.
Well, yeah, because
Yeah.
the sugars. I mean, that especially that processed sugar. If
Yeah.
you're gonna sit around and eat candy,
Don't
and
eat
stuff
junk
like
food. That's every diet.
Well, that's I have a
It's all of
hard.
them.
That's what's crazy. So once again, just back from the Philippines, is like the amount of sugar that's in like so much of everything there. It's like but at the same time, you go
Is
to
it real sugar or
well, it is there's not a whole lot of diet stuff, but meaning like
it's hard to find Diet Coke and stuff
yeah,
like that
like
there.
they have Coke.
But
Zero. They
if
actually
you get
don't-
a Coke there, it's really small.
it's tiny.
It's
Yeah,
tiny.
it's like literally like a six.
It's not a
it's like
64 ouncer like here.
If you feel like you're drinking Little Kings or something, they're just like tiny. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I want to order like 6 of them. And it's even like that when you go to the restaurants
Uh-huh.
too. Like here, they'll like you go to like Gates Barbecue and you get a drink, they give you like a bucket.
Yeah, like a 32 ounce cup.
Yeah, they're like, here's your bucket, sir, and would you like a hose to
No, there you
siphon
get
it
like
down
a
your
10
throat?
ounce cup.
If that, and it's just like
Looks like a shot glass.
Yeah,
Well,
just
aren't
little tiny
other
stuff.
countries typically like mindful of portions? Like that's the thing. Like for instance, tapas. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's all about portion control.
I mean, maybe now they'll give me a little tiny drink while they're like stacking up some like really weird like pig meat skin fat thing. Like, what do you call that?
Delicious. Lechon?
Oh
or
yeah, but
sisig
dude,
or-
no, it's not delicious. It's weird. And why does everything have the head on it still? That, you know, the thing I'm still getting used to is the fish for breakfast thing.
Crispy
Like,
pata.
I don't like the smell of fish at 6 a.m. So there's a lot of those island countries that, I mean, obviously there's just a lot of
Dried
fish.
Yeah.
fish.
Well, no, they had another thing too. Like JJ, our SEO guy, was eating something. Just had these little tiny dried fish, and they still had
Yeah,
the heads on them.
they're
And he was
good.
like, "These are so good." And I was
They're
like,
good.
"Dude, there's
Put a
no."
little
He's like, "You
vinegar
want
on
to try
it?
one?" I was like, "No,
Mm.
I really don't. Like, I have
Yeah.
no desire. It's like fish jerky."
All right, we're gonna go get mango shakes. We're gonna go on a little field trip later.
We
Go
are.
check
Well,
out
I
Ruby
want to.
Jeans.
I want to try this out, and I definitely want. You know what? Let's do this. Who out there listening will try this with us? Because
I'll do it.
I'll do it too, but I want someone out there that's listening to get out, to reach out to us. Who's willing to try the Ruby Jeans juice cleanse? Because we need support from the
Okay.
Startup Hustle Nation. Now, if you're out there listening, I want to once again remind you this episode's brought to you by Fullscale.io. You can check out the video version of this at our YouTube channel. Just look for Startup Hustle. We're on Instagram at Startup Hustle Podcast. Matt and I own some other businesses too, Stackify.com, Gigabook.com. We'd like it if you like, review, and subscribe to what we're doing here. And then I got a shout out. So TRG Homes, thanks for the t-shirt, man. I really appreciate it. Dropped it by. A little take on Supreme, but it says closer. I appreciate that. He sent me a message. He said, I know you love Supreme and I know you're a closer, and dropped off a t-shirt.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Still hoping someone's going to send in some fan art of Matt Watson. Oh, whoever actually does that is going to, that's let you will.
Can I pay somebody to do that?
No,
Okay.
you will. It only matters if it's pure and if it's organic. If you get a chance, you can check out the Ruby Jeans locations. They're at 11th and Main, 30th and Troost, and 51st and Brookside.
Yep.
And
First
that's
Street.
the Whole Foods one, right?
Correct.
Okay, so you got any plans? You open any new places anytime soon? Anything coming?
We're working. We're kind of just pacing ourselves a little bit. We have a couple of opportunities on the table, but they'll come out.
You can you found some fresh capital today from the Money Gun. It's about $27. What can we get for $27 at like?
You can get a lot of stuff. You can get smoothies, juice, food. You can get pretty much anything. for
By the way, how much does
$27.
it cost to do that? What's for a 7-day juice cleanse? Like
So cleanses are $50 a day.
$50 a day.
Correct.
Okay, and that's juice every 2 hours.
Every 2 hours. So you get 6 bottles for every day.
Okay, and what kind of juices are in there?
So
Is it a
our
variety? You already thought this out for me, right? I just got to drink the juice.
correct. Like I said, there's
that's
just a
my type of
beginners,
diet.
which is
Yeah.
more fruit heavy, and then the advanced is like, for instance, one of the drinks is the beetle juice, and it's all beets and ginger.
Beetlejuice.
But that is I can't even drink that one. Like
That, it doesn't sound
it's
delicious, but because it's called Beetlejuice, I'll drink it.
Dude,
all
yeah.
beets and ginger.
I'll
That
drink it just
sounds
because it's called
terrible.
Beetlejuice.
Dude, that sounds terrible.
It's pretty rough,
Like,
but I
it
mean,
sounds terrible.
People love it. The effects of beets are so impactful. It's crazy. Like we have
I think I'd
guys
rather
that
be
run
fat and
100-mile
unhealthy.
runs.
I'd rather
that
be
drink it.
fat and unhealthy than drink that.
No. I mean, it's rough, but it
Well, you're doing a good job.
you couldn't.
Be- Thanks. I mean, I tried anything I do. I try to do well. So, we're going to check this out once again. I want at least one person, if not more, to kind of speak up. And we need more people involved in this, right? We can't just do a science experiment with 2 people.
I
We
mean,
need to
support
get-
system is you're married.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I get my wife to she'll do it.
yeah, because
Yeah.
if she's going to Q39 and you're drinking
She's
juice,
not.
it's
She's
gonna be
waking up at 5 a.m. and running 10 miles and making me feel like a degenerate
oh,
when she comes
perfect.
home and
so
I'm
she'll
still
love
in bed.
this. Yeah, and then
It's just me, man.
you.
Just
All right.
me.
Chris,
yeah,
my
so-
day usually starts with my wife entering the bedroom, like dripping in sweat, having just run 10 miles, and I'm laying in bed going, well, can you turn the light off? Yeah, that's an accurate it's an accurate portrayal. So go to rubyjeansjuicery.com. Let us know. Send us a message on Instagram, or I don't know, figure out how to get a hold of us if you want to do the juice challenge too. And is our goal to lose weight or to feel better? Maybe do both.
Feel better. Losing weight is like a byproduct of it, but that's never really your goal unless you're
Okay.
getting married or something.
All right, I like it. See y'all next time.
Thank you.